Hello, 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 my YouTube subscribers and my subscribers to be. I'm your host, Josie Latimer of the Real Celebrity and Variety Talk Show. I am coming to you to talk about the case with the UPS driver, the robbers, the police officers, and everything that happened a couple of days ago in Florida. Well, what happened was there was two robbers and they robbed a jewelry store. I just really got all of the information in today on that. They robbed a jewelry store and so they were trying to get away, so they hijacked the UPS truck. At first, I thought they initially had robbed the UPS truck. That wasn't the case. The case was they actually had robbed a jewelry store, so they was trying to get away, and then they saw the UPS driver and he was their getaway. So my take is that when they used him as a getaway, they was actually trying to get away, but not actually trying to kill him. They just needed him um, as an scapegoat to get away. And so they hijacked him, carjacked him, and they were trying to get away. And there was a traffic stop in heavy traffic. So the UPS driver, he was driving the vehicle, I understand. So he had to stop because there was no other way. It was nothing he could do. He couldn't run over traffic. He had to stop. So at that point in time is actually when I heard that the robbers actually made the first gunshots. Now, I had a commenter told me, you know how commenters, they're going to tell you what they feel about everything, and that's okay with me. They said, well, actually, the police shot because of the fact that the robbers shot first. And I said it then, and I'm saying it again. I feel that the robbers wasn't going to kill the guy. They just wanted to get away and spare that guy's life because they already saw that the police was on their trail. So I feel that since the police officers had a helicopter, um, watching and filming everything, which they filmed this man falling out of the vehicle, that still haunts me to this day. I don't know how they could film anything like that live for the world to see because people like myself, I'm very sensitive to things like that. And it really hurted me to my soul to see a body falling out with all of this gunfire and all of this stuff going on the freeway in Florida. Now, my thing is that I know that if they shot first, the police officers are always going to shoot back. However, there were other people involved in the situation, such as the people in the traffic, the driver on the truck that was held hostage. I think, well, my take and my feelings is that if they probably would have just let them go ahead and not do any shooting or anything or stay back as far as possible because knowing that all these other people were around and in their minds, or someone could have told one of the other cops, hey, let's let them go ahead because if we start shooting on this freeway, it's going to be a lot of chaos and somebody else may possibly get killed. And also, remember, we have this young hostage on this UPS truck. We don't want to kill him. So perhaps if we just let the helicopters follow them and we get with them later and catch up with them later, perhaps the UPS driver can still live and possibly, no one else will get killed. And my take is that even the robbers probably would have thrown their hands up. You never know. But because of the situation, it was a deadlock in the traffic. They saw the cops on their trail. So when the cops came towards them is when they started firing at the cops. And then the cops started firing back. And in the midst of all the gunfire, two innocent people were killed. Now the driver's parents are speaking out, which they have every right to do because of the situation that their son was killed in the freeway traffic, along with another person that was killed as well. They feel that all the gunfire and all of the apprehension and all of the, going after the robbers should have been delayed because of her son being on the truck as well as other people in the traffic. That's my take also. That is my take, and I've talked with other people that feels the same way, but everybody have their own opinions. Like I had a commenter and he said, well, if someone shoots at the cops, of course they're going to shoot back. And I said, yes, I know that. They have every right to do so. However, if they would have just not even attempted to do anything to the guys, when they got out with the guns drawn, that's what made the guys shoot. If they would have just played it off and went on and let them go ahead and get out of the traffic and apprehend them at a later time, then possibly that guy that was in the heavy traffic that had just left his office, it was a union representative that works with him, an attorney, said that he had just left his office and got in that traffic on his way home. So he probably would have lived also if the cops would have just held off everything and got to those robbers at a later time just to save lives of innocent individuals. But what made them react was when those guys shot at them. So my take is, yes, of course, they're going to shoot back. If someone shoots at you, you're supposed to shoot back. However, if they would have just played it off and got with them later, then there would have possibly not been a shootout on the freeway, and possibly the UPS driver would have been able to escape. And another thing is that they're still trying to investigate what bullets actually hit the UPS driver. When I saw that body fall out of that truck, oh my God, it was live. The helicopters, they were filming it live. When I saw that, it still sticks in my mind that a body, and I think it looked like, I don't know, but it kind of to me felt like it was a UPS driver. It was a young kind of body, legs coming out, dangling out of that UPS truck with gunfire and smoke, and it was actually filmed, and everyone saw it on the news. That was really horrific to me, and it sticks in my mind, probably sticks in many other people's minds. And even the stepfather of the UPS driver said when his 15-year-old daughter saw that, she actually fainted. And I can believe it because I damn near fainted, because just to see that stuff, it was like a nightmare. I mean, gunfire, smoke everywhere, and it was all live in living color on TV, you guys. How horrific is that? So, yes, my take is that I feel that the police officers should have just let them go ahead because of thinking of all the other people around and catching up with them later, and possibly that two people could have, well, actually, all four of them probably could have made it. Possibly. I mean, in certain situations, you just never know, but that would be just the way I felt. This is my feelings about it, and I feel that maybe one of the other officers probably should have warned another one, because it was different agencies. I think it was over a dozen different people, police officers, agencies there. I feel that someone should have said, hey, look, we got to let them go ahead. We're not going to even get out and approach them. We're just going to let them go ahead because of all these other people around. But nobody thought to say that. And, of course, if those people were going to shoot at the police, they were going to shoot them back. And anybody else would too. But somebody should have nudged someone to say, hey, look at all this traffic. Bullets going to be flying. I think some woman got grazed in the head where a bullet that ricocheted and hit her in the head. And this man that left his office died, and the UPS driver died, and of course the robbers died. But it's just really going to be a lot of questions regarding that. It's just a catch-22. I mean, it's a situation that I can imagine how the parents feel. I can really imagine. And those robbers, they had nothing to lose. They really didn't. And that was why they shot at the police. And they probably said, if they get out of their cars, we're going to shoot because we're not going back to jail. Because both of them, and they were cousins, both 41 years old, cousins now, and they both had been in jail. And they both went to rob, and they both died together. They did everything wrong together. Unbelievable. So one probably told the other, let's shoot because we have nothing else and we're not going back to jail because they've already had a taste of jail. So, but my take, if the cops would have just let them went on, more lives probably would have been saved, possibly, allegedly, because I don't think they had killed the UPS driver because of the fact they just wanted to get away. I mean, they really probably didn't want a murder charge on them. They just wanted to probably get that robbery charge if they would have got caught later on. But because of the situation and they was hemmed on the traffic and the cops got out after them, and that's when they started firing. And of course, the cops had to fire back. But if they would have avoided all of that from the very beginning, then they wouldn't have had to fire back probably. They could have caught them at a later time, off guard, whatever. Sometimes you have to plan this stuff out when other people's lives are involved. And you can't just react so fast because then you're going to take the lives of other innocent people. And so those cops are now on leave, their jobs, giving them a leave because when stuff like that happens, it's a horrific situation and everyone involved are devastated, even them, even the cops. Because, like I said, when they got out after those guys fired and they had to fire back. But again, if they would have just let those guys go ahead and get out of that traffic, it probably could have been a different way. But that didn't happen. So it's a done deal. And that was just my take on it. It's just a bad situation all the way around from A to Z. My prayers go out to the family of the UPS driver. They're devastated. The lady says, I did not come here for my son to get killed to another country. I came here to better myself, not for my son to get killed. And their 15-year-old daughter saw that filming on TV. And I can imagine how that young girl felt because I felt and I still feel bad from seeing that. It is something that will stick in your mind when you see bodies flying out of a UPS truck and bullets and smoke going all over the freeway. And at that time, I had no idea that a person in the traffic coming home from a hard day's work was killed as well. My Lord, this stuff has to stop. But two cousins, I mean, what was in their mind, first of all, to rob a jewelry store? But again, they had a long rap sheet. And one of the brothers said they made bad choices. And as a result, their lives were ended with the choices that they made. Unbelievable, you guys. Anyway, I'm going to end with that. Thank you for listening to my audio, but that's just my take on it. And again, my prayers go out to the UPS driver parents, the mother and the stepfather, and the daughter and the entire family. My prayers go out to the person that was in the traffic, Saul, whatever his name was. He was leaving his office from a hard day's work. My prayers go out to his family. And my prayers go out to the parents of the robbers because I know they probably just can't believe that their sons did something like that. It's just like in Houston where a police officer was shot and killed, and my prayers go out to him and his family. Was shot and killed by a young man that girlfriend called because it was a domestic violence situation. So these cops have a very hard job as well, and sometimes they can't think fast enough to know what to do in certain situations. And he was alone. I mean, I don't understand how a cop could go to any situation or any house or address any issue alone because nowadays it should be two at all times. Just like on the UPS truck, I can't imagine how at Christmas time they would have that young man on that truck by himself, and that was a new route for him. They should have had someone else on that truck with him. However, maybe in a way it was good that no one else was on there because they probably too would have been shot up in the gunfire. But my prayers still go out to the robbers' parents because, as I said, oftentimes kids are raised very good and they chose the wrong path, getting with the wrong company, or they just could have wrong blood because for that both of those boys to be cousins and they even looked alike on the mugshot. I mean, they had the same kind of demeanor and everything, and they both were in jail for the same things. Wow, unbelievable. And they both were the same age. So it was like they was destined to die together because they did crime and everything probably together. So I'm just going to end it with that. But again, my prayers go out to all of the people that lost loved ones. And I pray for the families. I hope they can get through this holiday season because this is the worst time to lose someone. And most times, oftentimes, it's always around holiday time, birthday times, times that supposedly be joy. So this is why you have to stay positive throughout the year and don't just wait for the holidays to celebrate because Christmas should be every day because you never know what could happen tomorrow. I'm going to end this audio, but thank you so much for tuning in. Please click like, share, and subscribe. And let's pray for all of those that are involved, including the police officer that was killed in Houston, Texas. The police officer that was killed in Houston, Texas, the guy that killed him, father, he speaks out about it and he's saying the guns should be off the streets for people like his son and those people that are not supposed to have guns. He said he was on parole or something or probation, and he says he could walk right around the corner and go buy a gun, knowing that he's not supposed to. So what he's saying is that there should be a strict gun law because the guns are getting in the wrong hands of the wrong people. And he was saying, I could go right around the corner. He said, if that wouldn't have been the case, then his son wouldn't have had that gun. And he still can't believe his son killed a police officer. There was another girl that went to church with him. So you never know how people look in the minds of another person. You just don't know. You could look at people every day and think they are normal. And they possibly could be normal at that time. But something and the devil sets in and they could be like Dr. Jekyll and Mr. Hyde and blow your mind. This world is something else, you guys. So watch, fight, and pray. And the Bible tells you that. You have to watch all around you because you don't never know who could turn on you. I mean, that girl probably never would have thought that her boyfriend would have killed a police officer. And I heard he was a nice spiritual police officer. So police officers need more protection. They need double people on force. They need to be protected from their head to their toes, dealing with what's going on in the world today. I think they're talking about the gun law. They need to have a law to protect police officers, uh, the good ones, and there are a lot of bad ones too, but one bad apple can spoil the whole bunch. However, they're eliminating these bad officers because every day they're getting busted for things that they're not supposed to do. But good police officers that deserve to be here to help our society and community, they need they need to make them space outfits that are just like the bulletproof vest to protect them from their head, from the crown of their head to the bottom of their feet. And that way they won't be getting killed and we'll have more police officers to help people that are in need. With that, I'm going to end my show. Click like, share, and subscribe, and thank you for listening. Talk to you soon. Happy holidays.